Thank you, everyone. Up first, we have prayer and acknowledgement of country. Can we have Councillor Jones?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Local government prayer. O God, grant that by the knowledge of thy will, all we may resolve shall work together for good. We pray through Jesus Christ our Lord. And acknowledgement of country. I would like to acknowledge the Wiradjuri people who are the traditional custodians of the land. I would also like to pay respect to the elders, both past and present, of the Wiradjuri nation, and extend that respect to other Aboriginal people from other nations who are present.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Jones. Up first, we have confirmation of minutes. Can I have a mover of that one, please?
So moved.
Move Councillor Grant, and a seconder, please.
Councillor Gunley.
Yes,
Councillor Gumley. Okay.
Yeah.
All those in favour of the minutes? All those opposed?
Aye.
I declare it carried. Up next, CCL 20/53, leave of absence. Now, councillors, everyone is in attendance tonight, so there's no request for leaves of absence. So we'll move on to the next one, which is public forum. Under the new rules set by Parliament, public forum, there is no actual submissions from the public this time, so we need to move on that one as well. Straight on to matters considered by committees. The first one being CCL 20/55, the report of the Development and Environment Committee meeting of the 14th of April. Can I have a mover of that one, please?
So moved,
Councillor
Councillor
Moore. And a seconder?
Yes, I'll second that.
Parker.
Okay, Councillor Parker. Yeah, Moore and Parker. Any discussion or debate on that one? No, I put that. All those in favour? All those opposed? Any opposed? No, I declare it carried. Up next, CCL 20/56, report of the Infrastructure and Livability Committee meeting of the 14th of April. Can I have a mover of that one, please?
So moved, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Lawrence.
Okay, Councillor Moore and Councillor Lawrence as the seconder. Any discussion or debate? No, I'll put that. All those in favour? All those opposed? Any opposition, I should say? No, I put that. Oh, sorry, I declare it carried. Okay, report of the Culture, Economy and Corporate Committee meeting of the 14th of April. Can I have a mover there, please?
So moved, Councillor Gunley.
So moved by Councillor Gumley. A seconder?
Seconded, Councillor Lawrence.
Councillor Lawrence. Discussion or debate, councillors? No, I put that. All those in favour? All those opposed? With no opposition, I declare it carried. Up next, we have CCL 20/58, report of the Dubbo Regional Airports panel. Meeting the 20th of April. Move Councillor Moore. A seconder? Have a seconder, please.
Lawrence was there.
Councillor Gumley. Any discussion or debate on that matter? No. I put that. All those in favour? All those opposed? Any opposition? No. I declare it carried. CCL 20/59, COVID-19 update report on council services. I'll have a mover of that, please.
So moved, Councillor Moore.
Councillor Moore, seconded Councillor Jones. Discussion or debate on this matter? No, I put that. All those in favour? Opposed? Any opposition? No, declare it carried. CCL 20/60, the draft 2020/2021 budget and fees and charges. So first, I understand there are some amendments, but first I'll have a mover. So can someone move the budget in its whole form? Move Councillor Jones. A seconder, please.
Me, Councillor Etheridge.
Councillor Etheridge. Any discussion or debate? Now's the time for any amendments.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Councillor Moore, I'll move an amendment
Yep.
to CCL 2060. And that amendment is on the draft budget fees and charges for the airport. One that council write to the New South Wales Local Government Minister seeking avenues for council to alter the adoption per head fee to enable the cost recovery of the service from the Australian Government by the airline support package. And 2, that the security charge within the draft revenue policy be updated prior to going on public exhibition to include the reference council will proportionally charge all RPT airlines based on share of the total passengers every month for the full cost of the contract service invoice. The cost recovery process will continue under the condition of the RPT airlines receiving full subsidy and security screening charges from the Australian Government under COVID-19 stimulus package. A $6.60 per person charge will return once the government subsidies security ceases.
Okay, discussion. Oh, sorry, I need a seconder. Yep, Councillor Etheridge. Any discussion or debate on that matter? On the amendment, sorry? No, I put the amendment now. All those in favour? All those opposed? Any opposition? No, with no opposition, the amendment now becomes the motion. Any further amendments at all? Councillor Gumley.
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor. I also move an amendment to this budget item so far as fees and charges for season passes at the various aquatic leisure centres are concerned. The amendment being that a family season pass at Dubbo be reduced to $250, at Wellington $200, and at Geary $100. An adult season pass at Dubbo be reduced to $100, Wellington $80, and Geary $70. A child season pass at Dubbo be reduced to $70, Wellington $50, and Geary $45. A pensioner season pass at Dubbo reduced to $70, Wellington $50, and Geary $45. A family 3-month season pass at Dubbo be reduced to $150, and at Wellington reduced to $100. An adult 3-month season pass at Dubbo be reduced to $80, and Wellington $50. A child 3-month season pass at Dubbo be reduced to $40, and Wellington $30. And a pensioner 3-month season pass at Dubbo be reduced to $40, and Wellington $30. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Okay, can I have a seconder? Councillor Diffie. Any discussion or debate on that amendment?
Mr Mayor, I'd like to strongly support Councillor Gumley's motion and commend him on the amendment. This is something that I raised last year after receiving community feedback and raised again before the meeting tonight. Swimming is such an important life skill, and our pools are community pools that the community should be able to afford.
Certainly support that. Any further comment, councillors?
Yes, Mr Mayor. Councillor Gumley. I'd like to thank Councillor Diffie for seconding the amendment, and I hope that all councillors will support it in their vote. As Councillor Diffie has suggested, that pools are an important part of the community, and whilst obviously we have the responsibility to be mindful about how we spend the money, pools are definitely one of those areas which, in my view, the balance falls in the side of providing a service to the community and making money from that service a close second. So I'd encourage all the councillors to support the amendment.
Further comment on that?
Mr Mayor, I'd just like to make a quick comment. Councillor Grant here. Look, I just want to commend Councillor Gumley on that amendment, but also it just shows that we're listening to the community. The community have told us over the last 12 months that these fees were too high, and we've listened here, and we're putting this out to them for their review, and hopefully if they have any feedback, they'll certainly tell us about it.
Further comment, councillors? No, and I'll just come in on that. Look, Councillor Grant, you're absolutely right. Any further feedback, the community needs to come back. The community needs to really understand on this one that this isn't about what the budget is set for. This is a budget that we're setting out for 28 days public exhibition. Now, if we don't get any feedback, if we don't get people saying yay or nay or whatnot, the budget will effectively be passed as seen. It's very, very important that the community of Dubbo and Wellington and all the villages and all that's in between have a good look at this budget. It is online, and see exactly what we're proposing to charge, what exactly we're proposing to do over the next 12 months. It's no point having this go up and then later on down the track getting all upset about it. It's very, very important the community understand that this budget is basically how we operate. It's our lifeblood for the next 12 months. That's why it's very, very important that the community make comment on this and tell us where we're going right, where we're going wrong. So I certainly encourage members of the community to come forward. Look, I certainly agree with what Councillors Diffie and Councillors Gumley and yourself have had to say, Councillor Grant. I think we've got it wrong when it comes to the overcharging, when it comes to annual fees at those pools. We've got fantastic facilities, but it's no point having the world's best facilities for the size of the areas we serve if it's too expensive to get in. It's as simple as that. We've got to make it more accessible to people on fixed incomes, etc., to be able to use these facilities. So I think it's certainly a good move to go down this direction, this path. So with no further speakers, I'll put that amendment. All those in favour of the amendments? All those opposed? Any opposition at all to the amendment? No, I declare the amendment carried. The amendment now becomes the motion. All those in favour of the motion? All those opposed? Any opposition at all? No, I declare it carried. Now we go on to Councillors CCL 20/61, the draft 2020-2021 delivery program and operational plan. So effectively, councillors, this one is about what we're going to do over the next 12 months. We've worked out how to fund it. Now we're working out what our actual programs and how we're operating over the next 12 months is going to be. So can I have a mover of that one, please?
Move, Councillor Moore.
Councillor Moore, a seconder?
Seconded, Councillor Lawrence.
Lawrence, okay. Any discussion or debate on that matter? No, I put that. All those in favour? Opposed? Carried. Now we move on to CCL 20/62, the joint organisation membership.
So
Can I have
move,
a
Councillor Moore.
mover, Councillor Moore, a seconder, please. A seconder?
Etheridge.
Yeah,
Yes.
Councillor Etheridge. Any discussion or debate on this matter?
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Councillor Moore. This issue's been around for several months, probably go back to several years now, of joining a joint organisation. This council has been strongly opposed to joining this joint organisation for several reasons, as we feel that they do not work. The membership coming out of the old OROC has basically been halved. The financial burden that has been placed on these joint organisations by the state government, having regulatory mandatory settings that they have to abide by, are absolutely well beyond their league, and they can't possibly come forward and meet those obligations. The membership for this joint organisation is $38,000, and that is for 1 month. And then we basically have to pay another $38,000 for the previous month. We all know that the joint organisations are going to be reviewed in September of this year. The review basis is because there's a lot of councils throughout New South Wales have come forward and said that the joint organisations simply do not work. They have banded of employees which they have to employ to make sure that the administration works effectively. That is a financial burden on not only those joint organisations, but the councils that are members of those joint organisations. There's no way possible that I can, under the certain circumstances of the joint organisation administration, go forward and sign Dubbo Regional Council up to a defunct organisation. The current Orana joint organisation has passed a motion previously to remove themselves from the Orana joint organisation because they have said that it does not work. They know that that has to go back to the government, and obviously it's gazetted through the Parliament of New South Wales. But they feel that they are not being done properly by the government and the joint organisation. So therefore, I strongly oppose for us to go forward and join this joint organisation. However, I am in strong approval of putting forward a recommendation to the New South Wales Government of a joint organisation that is formed by Dubbo Regional Council and orchestrated by Dubbo Regional Council that will run effectively and run efficiently and give all those other smaller councils the chance that they have to utilise the big brother, which is Dubbo Regional Council, in their working, so their operations are done effectively and efficiently in the future. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, any further comment?
Yeah, I'll speak to this, Mr. Mayor, Councillor Lawrence. Shortly after we were elected, we were confronted with this issue of whether we would join a joint organisation. And for various different reasons, we resolved not to. Some of those concerns that were held by councillors, including myself, related to the cost of it and the role that we would play in it. There was also concerns expressed about whether this was a form of amalgamation by stealth. And people will recall, of course, that concerns about amalgamation, particularly amalgamations that were forced, were very fresh at that time. However, last year, late last year, we had a change of heart, and we had a change of heart and resolved that we would join the Orana JO. We formally applied to do so. There was a legal problem in the way that we applied, and that has now been communicated to us. There was a lot of things happening late last year. Certain of them are still continuing. Certain of them have been overshadowed, perhaps by the COVID-19 public health crisis. But a very significant reason why we resolved to join the Orana JO was the drought and the very urgent need for regional collaboration on water infrastructure. And one of the very significant things that the Orana JO has managed to do, notwithstanding that we're not in it, has related to that question of water infrastructure and pipelines. It's my concern that we will not be fulfilling our proper regional leadership role if we pass this recommendation. We, in my view, should be joining the Orana JO. The possible population and resources that will be encompassed by the new JO is halved if Dubbo is not part of it. It's a little bit ironic for people to cite as a reason why we should not join the JO that the JO is failing or the JO is not doing things. The reason the JO is having problems is that we have not joined it. And look, I understand and I respect all the arguments that have been put, and people will be conscious that we councillors have been discussing this issue now for some time. But I'm of the view that we need to step up and we need to recommit to joining the Orana JO. There is just so many important regional issues that we need collaboration on. Now, part of the recommendation suggests that we would apply to the local government minister to start a new JO. I am reliably informed that the local government minister has absolutely no intention of starting a new JO. So for this council to pass a recommendation to make a formal statement talking about something that is not going to happen, in my view, is not responsible. Now, I don't necessarily disagree that there are financial issues and organisational issues in this new JO. As I've said, in no large measure, I'm sure it's because we have not been part of it. But the way for us to constructively deal with those issues is to just join the JO. Then we will have a powerful seat at the table to address those organisational and financial issues. These broader questions of infrastructure, of regional economic development, of the whole suite of issues that government confronts are simply too important, in my view, for us to continue the back and forth and so forth around this issue of JO. We will, I believe, inevitably join the JO. The state government is committed to the project, and the state government has all sorts of sticks and sweeteners it can utilise over time to force councils to cooperate. The basic idea of JOs, I've come to the view, is not bad. And as I've said, if there are particular issues with this one, then the best way to address that is through a seat at the table. That's my views, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Etheridge, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, Councillor Etheridge.
We're not saying that we're not going to join. What we're saying is that in its present form, it doesn't work. So what we're saying is get back around the table, give us something that works. It's fair and equitable decisions made around the table for all councils. And yeah, then we have to make sure that we are joined, that we are involved with a group that is meaningful and functioning. I totally support Councillor Moore's comments. It just hasn't worked in the past. And if it did, it didn't do it very well. So we have to make sure that whatever we're going to be a part of functions at its highest level.
Okay, further speakers?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Councillor Diffie. I'm with Councillor Lawrence on this one, and I maintained from the very beginning that I said we should join the joint organisation. You know, there's some issues, and Councillor Lawrence pointed out financially, and I take comfort in the fact that there is a review going to happen, and those sort of issues could possibly be ironed out at that point in time. But I think it is vitally important that Dubbo is part of a joint organisation.
Okay. Further speakers at all?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, it's Councillor Grant through yourself. I'll be voting against the current recommendation that is on the table at the moment. Look, I would support joining the current joint organisation as at the 1st of July, and obviously very much in support of what Councillor Lawrence has talked about. Councillor Etheridge basically hit the nail on the head in the sense of that we need to be at the table when the review of this organisation comes up, and that's at September. So we need to be involved in this organisation to be at that table so we can say this is how we need to see it run. And so I think that we don't go organising and setting up new organisations. We need to run and get involved with what's happening at the moment. Councillor Moore once he said we're the big brother, and absolutely we are the big brother of the region. And as a big brother, we need to help our little brothers and sisters and pick them up and bring them along with us. So I think we really need to step up to the plate as the largest council in the area and the region. We need to be at the table for these smaller councils, and the longer we sort of muck around on the edges, the harder it is for these smaller organisations to make any progress on a regional perspective. And that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a region, not just Dubbo, not just Narromine, not Wellington, Mudgee. It is our region. So we're looking at the Central West and Western New South Wales. So at this point, I will be voting against the current recommendation.
Okay. Further?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Councillor Gumley. To suggest that because Dubbo doesn't become a part of the joint organisation at this time, that somehow we'll lose any clout or be shut out in the cold is, with respect, a ludicrous proposition. We've just heard that Dubbo's the big brother and the major player in the region, and the reality is we've had the chairperson of the joint organisation approaching councillors with a view to have us join. To suggest that somehow if we don't join at this time, that all of a sudden we won't be spoken to or indeed involved in any of the suggestions to benefit the region, just simply isn't true. Dubbo will still have clout in terms of regional infrastructure projects or matters that affect various councils across our region. So far as I'm concerned, and from what I've seen and heard, there's nothing that attracts me to joining the joint organisation as it currently exists, and I'll be supporting the recommendation.
Okay. Further?
Yeah, can you hear me, Mr Mayor?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Yeah, I'll be supporting the recommendation. I don't want to be guilted into joining it because the state government stuffed up in the first place. This is an incredibly flawed process, and I think we need to stand on our digs and show people that we won't be dictated to by Macquarie Street, which had no thought when they formed these things. There are so many problems. They came in with a big stick approach, the big stick approach that Councillor Lawrence was talking about, and they said you are going to do this despite the fact that so many councils, so many experienced people in local government, both in staff and elected, said it was an incredibly flawed process. They went ahead with it. They've had to bribe, they've had to cajole, they've had to use big sticks, little sticks, all sorts of sticks to force councils into these things. I think it would be irresponsible for us to use ratepayer money to join something and pay $38,000 to be in there for a month, and when it's going to be reviewed in September. I think the only responsible thing we can do is wait until we see the review and see if there's going to be any common sense brought into this debate. To think that the West is going to fall apart because Dubbo doesn't join a flawed organisation for a few months is just incredibly ill-informed, and I'm upset that anyone could even think that. I certainly won't be guilted into spending money for any sort of ludicrous reasons like that. Thank you.
Further comments at all? No? Okay. Well, I'll
Can
put
I just get a right reply, please, Mr Mayor?
Yes, Councillor Moore.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Can I just say that there are several councils out in the Western District that have not joined a joint organisation, and the state government are throwing money at them for whatever projects they have. So they're not part of this. They didn't have to be part of this to get money. They didn't have to be bribed into going into a joint organisation that is effectively going to cost them money. Even with our membership, even if we joined this joint organisation, this still does not cover the administrative costs of running this joint organisation. It is financially irresponsible for councillors to put their hand up and support this, knowing full well that this organisation is broke. We know full well that this organisation has put a motion up to wind it up. So how we can sit there and support throwing away money, especially in times like this, is beyond me. This joint organisation is purely voluntary, and the government have made that from the start. It's purely voluntary. We do not have to join if we don't want to. And I'll bring council's attention back to the first JO that we were supposed to join was with Bathurst and Orange. Now, that has since been gone, and they've moved it to joining Arana JO. So things can change as long as we put the right information forward, and as long as we put a standard that every other council can adopt to and make sure that this organisation is financially responsible and not supporting a irresponsible, unfinancial joint organisation. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Mr Mayor, I'd seek a right of reply.
The meeting, yeah, you don't actually you can't speak twice there's no seeking a right of reply to that, to a right of reply, Councillor Lawrence. So with no further speakers, I'll put that. All those in favour of the motion of Councillor Moores, say aye.
Please, right.
Oh, can you please call out, because this is tight, so I've got to. So
Councillor Moore.
Councillor Moore.
Councillor Etheridge.
Etheridge. Who else?
Councillor Ryan.
Ryan. Yep.
Councillor Gumley.
Gumley. Yep. Who else in favour? Okay. Who are those opposed?
Councillor Lawrence.
Lawrence. Yep.
Councillor Diffie.
Yep.
Councillor Grant.
Councillor Jones.
Parker. Jones. Okay, so 5-all, I declare the motion carried. All right, we now move on to Dubbo CBD precinct progress and developments. Can I have a mover of that one, please?
I move, Councillor Moore.
Councillor Ryan.
Any discussion or debate on that one? No, I put that. All those in favour? All those against? Any opposition at all? No, I declare it carried. CCL 20/64, Macquarie River CBD Master Plan. Can I have a mover of that? Councillor Ryan, someone who's very excited about this plan, and a seconder, Councillor Jones. Any discussion or debate on that matter?
Just briefly, Mr. Mayor, this is just so exciting, and of all the papers for this meeting, I enjoyed reading it the most. It just pertains to a part of Dubbo that is so important, and we're obviously going to spend money on it that's come from the state government, but more is needed to fulfil the whole plan, and I suspect down the track the people of Dubbo won't resist, the people of the region won't resist if some of that has to be ratepayers' money perhaps, because this is just such an important project for this community, I think. Any
Further discussion, Councillor Ryan?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Lawrence brought something up important there, like, you know, a couple of things ago I was bashing the state government, but certainly we have seen a big influx of funds from the New South Wales government, so I'd like to thank them for that, because to activate the CBD, activate that Riverine precinct is incredibly important, and it's beyond the resources of council. So yeah, very well done to everyone concerned there.
I'd like to respond to John there. Yeah, I agree. It's really exciting stuff. It's just going to rejuvenate the whole CBD area. It's going to get more people out there socially interacting. I think it's just fantastic. Well done to all who's worked on it. Thank you.
All right, further discussion or debate on that? No, I put that. All those in favour? All those opposed? Any further, any opposition at all? I always ask that. No, declare it carried. Now we move on to CCL 20/65, Murrumbang Road Stage 3, AHIP application for temporary removal of Aboriginal artefacts. Can I have a mover of that one, please?
Councillor Jones.
Move Councillor Jones, a seconder.
Councillor Etheridge.
Etheridge. Discussion or debate on this one? No, I put that. All those in favour? Opposed? Any opposition at all? No, declare it carried. Now we move on to CCL 20/66, comments and matters of urgency. Well, I'll start off this week, councillors. I would like to place on record my absolute pride and congratulations to members of the community who did Anzac Day differently this year. Look, Dubbo has, traditionally Dubbo has always done a very, very good Anzac display. Every dawn service I've been to now for many, many years has been absolutely packed down at the park. But the idea that, we had to do it from home this year at first was a bit of a shock to people. But I tell you what, the people of Dubbo and the whole region actually, they got the idea of heading to their front gates or their footpaths, and they ran with it. They really did. And, looking down my street alone on Saturday morning at 5 to 6 and just seeing almost every house in my street standing out there with either a candle or whatnot, doing the dawn service, their own little dawn service in their own right. I tell you what, it was extremely heartening, and I couldn't be prouder of the Dubbo region of witnessing what the Dubbo people got up to over the weekend celebrating, or commemorating, I should say, Anzac Day. It was truly wonderful to see. To a degree, it's almost a bit of a shame that we have to go back to the old way next year, because it's almost like a bit of a tradition I'd like to see carry on there. People do dress up their houses, but of course war memorials in their own right are very, very important as well. But again, I'd just like to put my appreciation on the Dubbo community, what they did over this time. They've taken to this change superbly. They've actually beaten the odds. People were out there, and they were certainly in there in full numbers. So congratulations, Dubbo. Just going around the table, I'll have to, for this, go through a list. So up next, Councillor Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too would like to echo your sentiments to the people that showed their support on Anzac Day. Traditionally, it's very important for my family. My grandfather went to World War I, went 3 tours there. So I was out the front with my family honouring him as well. And it was great to see so many people, especially in Wongarbin, that came out. I went for a walk after the service, and people had poppies on their gates, Australian flags. And it was actually one of the best walks that I don't want to go walking at the best of time, but it was good to go around and see all that through Wongarbin. So congratulations to the Wongarbin community, and well done. But I disagree with you. I'd like to be back at the cenotaph next year. It's more personal. It's more inspiring to be there and talking to the diggers, and especially the ones that are serving today, that put their life on the line. And to say, looking forward to next year. Hopefully back out at Yamunji again if they invite me. They have a wonderful service out there as well. So thank you, Dubbo, and thank you everyone else that contributed.
Okay, Councillor Diffie.
Sorry, thanks, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I would just like to echo your sentiments, and Councillor Moore's as well. I haven't made a dawn service for a little while, having young children. They're not so eager to get up, but they always march at 10 o'clock. We're 12 k's out of town. And I went for a walk after the dawn service where my husband and I stood up at the front gate, and there were people all out down our road. There was even a group of residents at One Gateway who had a bit of a campfire going, and a billy on there boiling some tea, which I thought was really quite sentimental. So yeah, it was an amazing morning, and it was very special to be part of it all.
Okay, Councillor Etheridge.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, once again, it doesn't seem to matter what this world throws at us. Our patriotism never brings. It was just amazing what this community has done, and I'm so proud. I'm so proud of the Australian people, but I'm particularly proud of our communities. It was just amazing, absolutely amazing, and well done to everybody.
Very good. Councillor Grant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've got a couple of things, but I will highlight the Anzac Day commemorations on the weekend, and just how in Wellington, once again, it was well supported as well as it was in the whole region. But the echo of the last post in the valley was just amazing. You could hear it. Yeah, it was spine tingling. It was absolutely amazing. I just have no words for it. So it's yeah, a great way to commemorate that. And yeah, as Councillor Moore said, I hope we're back at the cenotaph next year to do the real thing. Second one, I just wanted to a bit of a. I heard Councillor Lawrence actually say a bit earlier that he enjoyed reading part of the council paper. So I'm just worried about his mental state at the moment. So, Councillor Lawrence, are you okay?
No, I'm not.
Cabin fever, it's called.
No, that's it, exactly. And just the final one, it's look, I was reading the informal reports that comes out from staff each month, and it's great to see that the Wellington Suspension Bridge is certainly moving along. There's obviously council's looking to get some funds to do the draft concepts, and obviously that comes into with the CBD project as well. So it's great to see that all happening, and I look forward to seeing some more happen with that.
Okay. Next on, Councillor Gumley.
No, nothing from me. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Although I live 60 k's from Dubbo and 50 k's from Wellington, Murrumbeena Road put on a really, really great show on Anzac Day, and it was just fantastic to see the farmers get together with their children with candles and torches and so on. So we also did our part out in the far, far rural area of our shire.
Very good. Okay, Councillor Lawrence.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I thought that was quite funny when Councillor Grant asked me, are you okay? And I suppose the serious side of it is that a lot of us are struggling at the moment, and I suspect everyone here in council has had moments of despondency and moments of anxiety and moments of just not feeling quite right as a consequence of the social distancing that's going on. I tuned into the Anzac Day online service, and yeah, we always do Anzac Day so well, and to be honest, living here in the region, particularly since I've been on council, has given me in some ways a new appreciation of Anzac Day, and I just wanted to commend the staff for the way that they pulled it together. I thought it was quite beautiful. I've been keeping a close eye on the operation of the criminal justice system in the context of COVID-19 and the new laws and so forth. And it's been interesting to note that we seem to have a very low rate of fines being handed out in the region, and people really are doing, I think, an exceptional job of complying with the social distancing laws. I saw Dougal Saunders, our state MP, in the media this week querying whether country areas might be able to lift restrictions earlier than the cities, and that's something that I've been talking about for some time, and you, Mr. Mayor, probably recall me harassing you about it 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think it's a very worthy idea. We obviously live in a state whose borders are not that meaningful when it comes to public health necessarily, and the hot spots and the dense areas of population are in the cities. So I certainly hope that those that are charged with taking care of public health are thinking closely about whether we can lift restrictions, if appropriate, in places such as Dubbo and Wellington and other parts of the region earlier. Of course, the primacy has to be on public health only if appropriate, but certainly I think those sort of calls, as made by Dougal, are quite welcome and quite appropriate. I downloaded last night the COVID-19 app, which, as most people probably know, is designed to record information so that if someone becomes infected with the virus, public health tracing staff are able to immediately know who they've been more than 1.5 metres close to for more than a quarter of an hour. And the purpose of that is to allow public health people to ring those people up and advise them to get tested. There's obviously lots of privacy concerns raised about it. I read about it fairly extensively. I'm satisfied that the encryption and the regulatory approach to it means that there's certainly no real concerns. So I would certainly hope that everyone downloads it, because that's a key thing in lifting these restrictions. If the public health authorities know that they can contact anyone immediately that's been in contact with a confirmed case, then we will be able to lift these restrictions sooner. Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Just on that, Councillor Lawrence, yeah, my statement to the media on that one is very clear. Well, firstly, I want to say I downloaded the app, and I certainly encourage everyone to download the app. It's certainly a good thing to do. But just when it comes to opening up Dubbo as a bit of an experiment for this, I don't think that's wise if it is just by the pull and say of politicians, which we've got so far. Frankly, I'm not interested in opening up Dubbo or Dubbo being an experiment unless it is from the Chief Health Officers, either state or federal.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can't just have this thing where just politicians are just carrying on and just, you know, pretending they know what they're talking about. No, that's not good enough. We employ Chief Medical Officers for a reason in this country. We've got a stack of people, professors, doctors, medical researchers out there who know what they're talking about. And my personal view on this one is that the politicians should keep out of it and leave it to the experts on this. And very, very hesitant to, it's no different to our water debate we had before. Leave it to the water experts, the engineers, all those sort of things. Same with this health thing. Leave it to the health experts who are doing the talking. And politicians trying to outbid each other and trying to take the populist route when they realistically should be taking the health advice of our appropriate facilities, with the appropriate advice from those people who know what they're talking about. So
yes, I certainly wasn't suggesting to the contrary, Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
but a
Certainly,
technocracy is when experts make all decisions, and it's not ideal either.
yeah. Okay. All right. Councillor Parker. Councillor Parker.
Yeah, I got you there, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. Just had a bit of trouble signing back in there. Look, just one little point there. I'm certainly aware of a stress and worry amongst the residents of Dubbo and surrounding areas in terms of what's happening with COVID-19. And look, I just really want to sort of encourage people to chat about it. And if you've got an issue with council, of course, well, we've got the hardship program in place, and encourage them to not to be backwards in coming forward with their problems. So other than that, that's about it. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Ryan, last but not least.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, a few things. I spent the last 10 days or 2 weeks talking to people about Anzac Day in relation to my employment as a reporter, and I spent most of Anzac morning certainly driving around. Ellie Taylor, who's 16 in Year 12, the captain of the local Air Cadets 303 squadron. She organised her entire street to come out while she recited the ode, and there were little pockets like that all around the place. There was a bagpiper wandering down Tamworth Street and those areas, and it was fantastic to see people not sitting back and saying it's all too hard, and the inventive ways that people came up with to celebrate Anzac Day. Just on the isolation issue, I think before anyone decides whether Dubbo should be some sort of a test case, because we're a country area, they should go down to the train station when the XPT unloads and look at all these people not from here just walking off into the community. I think we'd have to have very tight restrictions on travel in if anything like that happened. One thing I do want to talk about is the volunteers in the community who are doing incredible things. Elderly people who've always prided themselves on looking after themselves are signing up, for instance, to Meals on Wheels. Not so much because they're finding it difficult to cook, but they don't want to go down to the supermarket. And I don't want to go down to the supermarket. You can keep a social distance, and then there are people desperate to get between you and the people you're social distancing with. So it's the volunteers like this who have allowed many of our elderly people to stay at home and feel secure. So I think that people should, especially if they've got time, some people are working 3 times harder than they ever have. Other people don't have that luxury or that capacity. And for people who have got time, I'd really like to urge them to look at volunteer organisations they can potentially support. A lot of our volunteer organisations, the backbone of them are elderly people, a lot of people who've retired. They're the very people now who we need to keep at home and keep safe. So if you're younger and you do have some time on your hands, I think now is the time to really consider what you can do for the community. Thank you.
Okay, and that concludes items on the agenda. I'd like to thank everyone for your attendance at this month's meeting of Dubbo Regional Council, and our first official meeting via webcam.